In 1967, the global financial system began to fracture, not with an announcement, not with a collapse, but with quiet decisions made behind steel doors. Fast forward to today. In the last 12 months alone, central banks added more gold to their balance sheets than at any point since that same year. While the public was told inflation was cooling, institutions were locking wealth away. This is not panic. This is preparation. Because when the people who issue money start choosing something else, it's never accidental. Tonight, we examine the Great Exit. Every financial era begins with a story. The current one sounds reassuring. Inflation is cooling. Rates have peaked. A soft landing is underway. Central banks repeat it. Financial media amplifies it. Markets are encouraged to relax. But institutions do not move on words. They move on balance sheets. And when you compare what is said to what is done, the gap is impossible to ignore. Because while inflation was supposedly easing, central banks were buying gold, not symbolically, not cautiously, aggressively. Let's strip away the rhetoric. Central banks do not buy assets emotionally. They buy for systemic protection. Gold is not a growth asset. It produces no yield. It does not compound. So when reserve managers choose gold, they are not seeking profit. They are seeking neutrality. Over the last several years, central banks quietly became the largest net buyers of gold in the world. More than hedge funds, more than private investors. This behavior did not begin during crisis headlines. It accelerated after something else happened. Because the real shift did not start with inflation. It started when money became a weapon. And once that line is crossed, no institution forgets it. For decades, the global system relied on one assumption, that reserves were untouchable, that dollars were neutral, that settlement was apolitical. That assumption died quietly. When reserves were frozen, when access was revoked, when financial infrastructure became leverage, every central bank took note. Not publicly, privately. Because once reserves are political, they are no longer reserves. Gold has no issuer, no permission layer, no counterparty. It cannot be frozen. It cannot be sanctioned. And it cannot be printed. That is not ideology. That is architecture. This is not about abandoning the dollar. That framing is too crude. This is about optional exit paths. The dollar remains dominant, but dominance is no longer unquestioned. Debt has grown faster than trust. Issuance has outpaced restraint. Confidence is now managed, not assumed. Central banks see the math. They also see the incentives. Gold does not replace the dollar. It hedges against its overuse. Gold is not alone. Silver is behaving differently too, not loudly, not explosively, but structurally. Silver is both money and industrial input. It lives at the intersection of currency trust and physical necessity. When institutions accumulate silver, they are hedging twice, against monetary instability and supply disruption. That combination is rare and telling. Here's the part no press release explains. Institutions do not warn the public. They reposition first. If central banks reduce exposure to paper claims, while households increase it, the asymmetry widens. This does not mean collapse. It means silent dilution. Savings lose weight. Purchasing power thins. Time becomes more expensive. The exit happens slowly, until it doesn't. The lesson is not fear. It is clarity. Watch what institutions do when no one is watching. Words calm markets. Assets reveal beliefs. Gold is not a prediction. It is a preference. And preferences change before systems do. Empires do not fall suddenly. They transition quietly, then all at once. The Great Exit is not an escape. It is a repositioning. A reminder that money is trust, and trust must be earned again and again. What if you understood the shift before it was announced? Comment your thoughts and subscribe, because the next secret is already moving.